Welcome, everybody. My name is Felipe Garcia. I'm a senior account manager here at Fliplet, and I'm joined by my colleague, Sophie Talagani.
Hello, I'm Sophie Talagani. I'm the Senior Account Manager for the EU and UK. Thanks for joining us today. We are very excited to run you through all the updates we have made to the platform so far, and then also upcoming improvements to come. So I'll hand you back over to Felipe now, who will let you know what we will be talking about today.
Thank you, Sophie. Yeah, so Fliplet Summit is a chance for us to share with you our latest updates and what other clients are doing with the platform. Everything we will share today comes from feedback that you have given us. So we hope to keep it very practical, so you can take it back and start, building things and generating impact within your firms. If you have any questions throughout any of the sessions, please feel free to drop your questions using the Q&A button on your screen. All messages are private, and we will give you answers after the summit. Before we kick things off, we thought it'd be a good idea to run you through the agenda. We are going to start looking at our Studio V3. It's our first AI studio. And then we're going to jump onto our publishing dashboard. We have made several updates to it and minimized the number of steps it takes for you to get the app published. I know that can be sort of painful sometimes, so you'll see that you'll gain some time back, making it easier for you to get your apps to your users. After that, we're going to give you an update on existing components within Fliplet Studio, and we're going to finish up with an update on security from our CEO, Toby Rowe. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to our head of product, Tony, who is going to walk us through our uh, uh, AI first Studio V3. I'm very excited about this. Haven't seen really what he has to offer, but I'm sure you'll be blown away. I have used it myself and built a couple of tools with it. It's been really powerful. So I hope that you guys enjoyed what you see, and feel free to drop your questions.
Thank you, Felipe, and welcome everyone to today's session on the launch and roadmap update for Studio V3, Fliplet's AI-first software builder. I am very excited about what I have to show you guys today. I am your host for the day. I am Tony, the head of product here at Fliplet. If you have any questions that you want to ask or suggestions that you would like to share, you can do so at any time. It is all shared privately via Zoom's Q&A feature. If we have time at the end of the session, we will go through them. But in the unfortunate circumstance that we do not have time, that's fine too. We will take a look at them, all of them, and then get back to you individually afterwards. Here are a few things of what we're going to cover today. We will first go through and briefly talk about what Studio V3 is and why we went on the journey to build Studio V3. I will show you a few things of what we have been able to build using Studio V3 so far internally. Some of them are fully working. Some of them are sort of ideas I've been playing around with, and we've had a lot of fun building those things, and hopefully you will enjoy seeing them too. I will then go through some key features that we think will be important for all of you, and thus will have certain information that you'll find useful. And then right before finishing up, I will clarify what's going to be available and what we're going to be launching today, before then finishing up with giving you an update on some of the other features that we're also going to be working on for the rest of the quarter and the rest of the year. Fliplet's AI journey started around 2023, where was very soon after ChatGPT became known to the world. And we very quickly then introduced AI features to our apps. Some of the early examples included universal search within your apps, as well as the use of advanced analytics, where you can use AI to assess what people are doing inside your apps. Last year, we launched our AI feature component, where you can describe the feature that you want added to your app, and then and it can sort of build whatever you want. Gone were the days of using customized components, and you can essentially build what you want on every single screen that you want. And this year, Fliplet Studio becomes truly AI first, where you can build and control your entire app through describing what you want with AI. But why did we build it? We were noticing that a lot of ideas in our clients' firms sort of never really got built. And there were a few common reasons why this happened. The discussion and the scoping of what needs to be in those apps, they typically take longer. And then the appetite lasts. So by the time that the teams have really nailed down what they want to build, usually people have lost interest. And then so that time has passed. It's also quite often quite hard to visualize for the stakeholders to really know what they're agreeing to, because it could often be quite time and resource costly to go and build them. So people have to go through a lot of sort of processes and rounds of reviews and feedback to determine do they actually want to build it or not. And that really leads to the ideas simply stuck between the people who came up with the ideas and the people who are kind of waiting to build them, who are really, really busy. And that is often because that there are lots of small ideas as well. They are not usually sort of a flagship sort of apps and projects. And sometimes they could just be like, I just want a quick expense form just to manage a small event that I'm running. But there's simply not enough time to go through all the processes that I just talked about. And the reality is that AI is making all of this a lot easier. It's much easier to create ideas and then form prototypes and then share those ideas. And yeah, so these are all the problems that Studio V3 was then designed to solve. And so Studio V3 is Fliplet AI first software builder. The way it works is that you describe what you want, you see it take shape, and then you make it yours, adjust it to your heart's content until you're happy with it. So what can you build in Studio V3? I will go through 5 examples. Starting with the first one, I will go through and show a event registration example. The event registration example started off with me describing that I wanted an event app that shows some basic information about the event, and I needed a registration form, and then I sort of specified what kind of registration process that I wanted. This is a use case that lands on our front door quite a lot with our customers wanting to build registration forms and registration sort of data collection processes for their events. The reality is these are often quite customized to exactly the type of data that these events need, as well as to the internal processes of how people want to work and manage these events. And the event managers, they all have their own preferences across different companies. And the thing that we quite often hear is a long list of requests of what they want these registration apps to do. And then they will usually end with a sentence, honestly, we haven't seen anyone else solve this problem. And that's because most of these softwares are trying to be sort of event software vendors, whereas we are sort of a software builder. You can quite literally build whatever you want. So let me show you what I managed to build, starting from the simple prompt that I just mentioned. And then I think it took about, with this app, maybe about 7 or 8 additional nudges that I then gave to AI to form what we eventually saw today. So you can find some pretty basic information about the event, when and where it's going to happen, a lovely image of the venue, and then some standout features about the event or what people can expect, and the sort of the atmosphere in the venue that people can expect to sort of see. There are some tickets and sort of different information about each ticket for people to choose, and then some speaker information for some featured speakers as well. There's some partner and sponsor information that you can find, and you can add whatever logos you want here. And then at the bottom, there's some featured sessions, as well as some frequently asked questions that you can add and update. And so this is a fairly stock standard sort of a promotional web page for your event. Now, there's also a program, sort of an agenda page to kind of let people know what's going to be happening and what they can expect from the event. But the most interesting part, of course, is the registration part that I was just talking about. And in this case, I've sort of picked 3 different types of tickets. So let's go for the full summit pass and click on continue here. And I can provide some like basic information. Tony Wu, head of product, company, Fliplet, and I'm just going to go with my email here and continue. And here's a common situation where within a event, people then have to pick the sessions that they want to join for the day. So you've got day one, we have 3 different ones, and we've got a sort of a drag and drop to reorder. So if I move that to the top, that's my top preference, and maybe this one is my last preference. Day 2, I'm going to move that one to the bottom. Otherwise, I'm happy with this. And day 3, how to use AI to improve team management. Yeah, pretty much like to hear about that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this as well. So I'm going to click on continue. And then I get to sort of confirm whether I'm happy with this. And then I just kind of complete the registration this way. It's pretty simple to put together. As I said, it started off with a description in my own words about what sort of process that I wanted. And then with a few nudges, it sort of gave me quite a lovely event website and registration process. The next app is an event app, which then comes with the event registration as well, if that's what you need to do. And in this particular example, I started off asking that I needed a pretty simple event app with agenda as well as networking features. I think those were my initial description. And then later on in the process, I then realized I think I want note taking as well. So I simply said, I would give me note taking. So I sort of added another tab along the bottom to give me the note taking feature. And then with the networking, I was going, you know what, I quite like this, but let's add some AI features to the app as well. So the app itself, not only is it built by AI, but it also has AI functionality built within. And this is what we ended up with. So I've got a next session in 12 minutes reminding me of that, and then some suggested matches of people that I might be interested in talking about. And maybe we are sharing the same track of events that we're going to be seeing. Some of the interesting features here is that I have an AI concierge feature. And if I want to know where I'll be going next, so AI is going to sort of walk through the agenda. And then here we go. It says my next session is the cross-border. Yep, it kind of matches what it says up here at 9 o'clock. But I would also love to know who I should meet to talk about employment law. It'll be really great to meet someone there. Okay, here we go. Looks like it went through the attendee directory and employment tracks. And yeah, looks like we've probably shared 2 separate sessions as an overlap. So that would be great. Priya Patel. Yeah, maybe I will bump into her. And then I also have a pretty stock standard agenda where I can see everything, and then I can RSVP to some of them to say that I want to join them. I can switch between different days and then different filters as well. We've also added a feature here where if I then click on the session, it sort of gives me a form to ask Q&A during the Q&A session. And the networking feature is something that was quite fun to build as well. I'll be honest, I say fun to build. It's actually not that fun. As a product person, I would prefer to sort of piece it together bit by bit and build it. I think it's kind of disappointing in the way that I just described an AI just kind of built it. So it's sort of like it was over so quickly. But I don't know. You call that fun? Not fun? That's kind of up to you. But with a book one-on-one, you simply sort of pick a person you want to book a meeting with and go pick a time, and then that's it. And then the request has been sent and confirmed, and then it's added to my bookings of my meetings. There is also a networking feature, and this was sort of a test. Here we go. So it opens up a camera. So if I have my business card with me, I can sort of scan it, and then it can work that way. So I'm going to close that. And then there's also the notes feature, which you can see a couple of notes that are already sitting there. So that's the event app. As I said, you could have started off with sort of 2 or 3 features, and then I sort of added notes afterwards. It sort of really shows that instead of having a big event solution with sort of a bloated set of features that I don't want, that I don't have much flexibility over what I change, I can now build exactly what I need and have a really simplified experience for the people who are attending the event. And next, we have the corporate directory. Corporate directory is a pretty popular solution that our existing customers are using. And what we really wanted to show here is what it would be like to integrate with a SAML 2 and all the different features as well, and what a really, really good corporate directory could look like. And here it is. So in this particular case, we've integrated it with Microsoft Azure ID. So if I click on that, I got a separate window. Here we go. Yep. So I'm logged in there. And now I'm logged in. So here we go. I have a directory full of a bunch of people that I can see. I have practice groups that I can switch between. And I can also run filters on Singapore, for example. And I can pick a person and see their data. Now, for the sake of this particular demo, I've sort of built in a toggle at the top so that if I am logged in as an associate, this is what I will see. The direct line and mobile number will be hidden. And if I'm logged in as a partner, then I will be able to see the full information. There is also an org chart. The org chart gives you the sort of a reporting line assessment here. I can zoom in and out and pan around. And I can also see it grouped by practice group. And for this particular law firm in this case. And then also by office. And I can click through at any time and then find out more information about them as well. So in this particular case, if I sort of click on the arrow here, then I can find out more information in here. What's really exciting is that we also have an AI search feature. And then, so if I wanted to find out who has, let's say, private equity fund formation experience, I can click through and it will basically search through the skills and the matters that they have worked on and then eventually be able to give me some recommendation. Here we go. And then I got Sarah Goldstein matched on private equity fund. Okay, that's really exciting. So let me just check whether I do want to talk to her. And if I do, I can click on request intro and say, hi, Sarah. We should talk. And here we go. And then I can send a request. So this was kind of fun to build as well. I think I particularly was sort of it's quite fun to kind of see this sort of org chart come together in a really interactive way. I quite enjoy seeing that. The next example is a client intake example. In this particular case, we've come up with a sort of a fictional small law firm, and that sort of takes in sort of family law and that sort of cases. And this allows customers and their clients to sort of fill in information and go through what is commonly known as a KYC, know your customer process, where then you have to provide your information and go through an automated check to confirm that you are indeed the person you're saying you are, and then takes you through. This would usually require a third-party API integration to run through all the passport checks and so on. In our particular case, because we didn't really have access to those APIs, we sort of come up with a potential workflow for how this could work. And although it isn't fully connected to a database to get that working, what this shows that you can quite easily build something like this as a prototype to sort of find stakeholders internally for them to agree on the type of project. Back to my earlier point about it could often get stuck in this sort of a scope and documentation hell where your idea never really surfaces to get built. And if you build a prototype, sometimes it's a lot easier to convince stakeholders. In this particular case, I simply talked about the kind of the client intake user flow I want the client or potential client to go through. And then it sort of, ended up building this for me. I think in total, this was, because I had to work with some camera features as well. I think this took us slightly longer to build, maybe about just under 20 messages back and forth with AI to get this built. But nonetheless, it was quite exciting. I think it maybe took about half an hour, slightly longer than some of the previous ones. So here's a prototype of what it will look like. So welcome, Sarah. Let's open up your file. So pretending I'm Sarah here, trying to sort of be sort of register as a new client. I can kind of say what I need help with. Let's say I need help with family law and the type of matter. No, not children actively. Let's say it is about divorce. And then very much similar to the registration process, this is kind of the case where if you have a very unique decision tree and workflow that you want to take the user through, you can sort of design the form the way you want it to. So I'm just going to quickly sort of take you through all of these. And then once I've filled in all the information, and then is there any name of the opposing party? So I am divorcing with Smith & Co., let's say in this case. And I can basically go through with this and it sort of verifies, so in this particular case, I need to verify with my passport. Now, where is my passport? Here. So here we go. Let me scan the passport. There we go. I think that worked. That looks like me. And then I can skip that. And now I have to do a liveness check to make sure I am indeed me. Here we go. 98.4. Yeah, I guess that is me almost. And then the user flow for this is then that, it will go through some sanity check on the information and then confirm that I am indeed me. And then last but not least, typically for something like this, there needs to be a conflict check just to make sure there's no conflict of interest. And in this particular case, it does look like there's a potential conflict being detected. So let's see. In this particular case, again, if I'm building this prototype for an internal review, then I would have say to the stakeholders, and this is what the partner view would look like. So in case we're a partner, I'll be seeing that there's a new intake for Sarah Chen, but then there is a potential conflict. Maybe I have to give the case to someone else, or maybe to a different firm. So I can sort of figure out actually is there or isn't an actual conflict. Type in the information. No real conflict because XYZ ... and then I can approve the override. So yeah, this was quite a fun one to make. It's being sort of building with a sort of a camera integration, and then if this project got approved, I simply pretty much just have to stress test it and connect it with a third-party API to complete the know your customer process, and yeah, that's it. Right. Last but not least, in a pretty simple way, we also just kind of built a pitch deck. This is really just kind of showcase the fact that with Fliplet Studio V3, it is not just about building apps or websites. You can pretty much use it to build a lot of different digital experiences as you want. So with this particular project, we then built a Broom PLC pitch deck for an accounting firm. And you can kind of see that the layout is sort of a nicely spaced out like a deck. And then this kind of really beats a lot of the sort of presentation tools that you would have typically be using. And then just by talking to AI and loading in the kind of information you want, you can sort of build out the entire deck. There are a few key features I do want to quickly rattle through. These are features that I think really sort of stands out. Apart from the sort of talking to AI and build your app, I think there's a lot more sort of adjacent features that we think is really going to support your experience in building your apps. Starting with enterprise security, brand control, code access, version control, and accessibility plus SEO. So I will just kind of talk through some of these points briefly. On the point of enterprise security, security has always been from day one of utmost importance to us here at Fliplet. Your usual authentication options that you might expect in other apps, such as email and password verification or one-time password, where you receive a one-time passcode to enter into your app, as well as sort of an SSO with SAML2, though all those are still supported. The interesting thing is that now that AI is controlling sort of the mechanism through which these are wired together, you're able to have much more flexibility as well. For example, if you want to have email and password, and then also a two-step verification where people enter a code, you can do that. You can chain them up together and then have your apps work that way. Data sources and files. Data sources are essentially the database system powering our apps. They are very important to make sure. It's very important to make sure that they are secured with very specific access rules. For example, if you have an expense app internally, you probably want to make sure the receipts are not accessible by anyone other than yourself and maybe the finance team. On brand control, if you have any existing branding style guides, or if you don't, you just want to sort of point AI at your website URL, you can do so. And by sort of providing these references, including, I think we've also tried uploading really just like a document that is branded in a certain way, and it'll sort of pick up on the styles and the colors and the fonts, and then sort of implement that for you. Once it has picked out a branding, it will be as consistently applied throughout your app. And you can also change it afterwards. Sometimes it picks out on some of the branding, but doesn't quite get applied in the way you want, especially if you're trying to create a new digital experience that your branding team has never really created a brand style guide for. So you can just describe any kind of changes you want to say, actually, I don't want the red at the top. That needs to be at the bottom as a circle. kind of however you want to sort of describe it in a very specific or an abstract way, AI can kind of figure that out for you. And looking at the event app created earlier on, here are some examples of how different it could look depending on your branding. If you have developers in your firm that is used to building apps in the way that they want, you can also sort of pair up the sort of AI build process as well as having a code editor access. We are giving them the access to all the code from the first character to the very last character of your entire app. And they can change whatever they want. And this is something that is new. We really think that it's really going to sort of empower the developers to sort of make any changes they want, integrate third-party libraries, and then have a lot more control in knowing exactly what is going on, and that it isn't entirely a black box. We also have version control and version history added throughout the system. And that means you can make the changes through AI safely. At any point, if you realize it's sort of gone down the wrong path, either AI has interpreted the wrong thing, or maybe it hasn't interpreted the wrong thing, but you simply changed your mind. You can roll back your entire app, not file by file, not screen by screen. You can just roll back the entire app to a previous point, and then you can sort of go from there again. Rollback is available not just on the apps, but also the data that you load into the apps, including the data sources as well as files. Last but not least, we have also optimized the system for SEO and accessibility as well. For those of you who are going to be launching these as websites or want to make sure that accessibility is an important aspect, usually for maybe the public sector and so on, AI is able to help you directly configure all the metadata and so on to make sure that they're all compliant with all the best practice. Here are some interface to show you about what that process might look like. You can simply review the steps that you haven't or haven't completed, click on Setup with AI, and then it will recommend the changes, and then you can review them to figure out sort of whether they're appropriate or not before applying those changes. And so what are we launching today? The whole process of being able to use a one-sentence brief or one-paragraph brief to getting a working software that is all ready. We have things like design mode and code mode that allows you to configure your brand as well as have access to your code. Version history, as I said, that's available already. And then we have lots of sort of little tools here and there to make sure that if you want to refine and adjust your app, you can sort of do that however you want. So you sort of usually what we find is that it's really quick to get it about 80% of the way. And then the rest of it is really, really down to your ambition of what you want to see. And then that could be quite a fun process to try to explore different ideas, roll back and then try different things, make a copy of the app and try different things. It can... I'll just say be careful. You could end up spending days and nights, not because you need to take that long, but just because you don't realize how much time you would have sunk into it because it's kind of fun, to be honest. And so all of this is available in Studio V3 Beta today. If you want to have access, just speak to your account manager or the sales team to get access for your team. And coming up for the rest of the quarter, as well as for the rest of the year, we're still working on lots of things as well. We are going to be providing app templates, and these will act as starting points for the common app types. Although you can build apps entirely using AI, Fliplet has many years, decades, I would say probably about 1 decade. This is probably a little over a decade is how long I've been working here. So we have a lot of experiences on what makes a good app. So we do believe that people want to see those templates. We will provide in pretty stock standard app templates that people can use. Once you take them, you can then modify them as you want as well. You can completely have ownership over the entire app experience. And then you're also going to be able to add integration with any services that you want and with any connections that you want to set up. There will be more ways for you to shape your project. Now we have AI on one hand, where it's super flexible that you can just use everyday natural language to talk about what you want. You can also have code at the other end of the spectrum, where you can have direct access to how the binary ones and zeros work. but we have everything else in between as well. Sometimes you kind of want to see something visual. People still want that sort of drag and drop experience, or people still want to be able to click on something and say, I just want this thing slightly different. Can I not talk to AI about it? So there are a couple of things that we're going to be implementing to make everything in between as easy as it can be. And more importantly, we're going to be implementing a lot more sort of AI features, not just to help you build your apps, but maintain your apps, monitor your apps on the engagement. And if you want to promote your apps by getting more users onto the system or promote it on social media, we'll be able to sort of help you with that as well. We have lots of ideas that we want to work with. The team at Fliplet is super excited about them. So there's going to be some continuous improvement and new features being shipped throughout the year. Right, Q&A. Let's see if we have any questions. Here's a good one. How much would it cost? Indeed. How much would it cost? I won't spoil the fun for our sales and account management team, so I'm just going to say speak to our sales team and account manager, where you can find out more. And does the system work well if I switch between code and prompting? So as I said earlier on, we've got sort of a two ends of the spectrum that you can use prompting, which is what they call it in AI, where you can describe the changes that you want, and you can also code directly. And yes, you can change them back and forth. If you go over to code mode, make some changes to the code, you go back to prompting. Next time you talk to AI will pick up on all the latest changes of your code, so that it continues working from that point onwards. And let's see. Oh, yes, I just got a new one here. Does the platform work on all browsers, especially Edge? Yes, it does work. We just recently did a few rounds of testing directly on Edge. We did find a couple of minor issues here and there, but then we found out that those issues weren't really exclusive to Edge. And as we are in the beta phase, those are the kind of issues that we're trying to sort of iron out, to smooth out. But certainly Edge is supported and it's not a problem. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's all the questions. And so I really hope you guys enjoyed the session. I certainly enjoyed putting together those examples to show you guys. And then, if there's any other questions, then we will sort of answer them afterwards and send you back those responses. So, I will hand it back to our host, who will continue to the next session.
Thank you, Tony. That was absolutely amazing. I have a couple notes that I wanted to share about your presentation, but to be completely honest, I was completely blown away. I love the way, you are able to arrange the agenda. The quality and the look and the feel of everything is just amazing. Also, the AI concierge really spoke to me because it's going to tailor the experience for everybody that uses it. All of a sudden you have a conference or an event that is just for you, which is good. And, the identity scanner was just mind blowing. So everything, it's really, really cool. And I know working at Fliplet for almost 4 years now, building some of these features takes a lot of coding, right? They're custom features. It needs, custom code to do it. And the fact that you said that you did it in 8 notches and then 20 notches for the other one, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah. How about you, Sophie? What do you think?
Yeah, agree. Well done, Tony. Very good. I have some, as I was seeing them, I was thinking of one client in particular that they have like event after event. And that would be perfect for them. I mean, because nothing wrong with V2, but like it is just going to be so much faster for them. And like if they need to change anything or add more detail, it'll be so much faster on V3. And yeah, as mentioned, we've both already had a chance to show some early versions of this to a few clients, and the reactions have been really strong. So people are genuinely surprised how quickly you can go from idea to something real. I think what stands out the most is just how much easier that earlier stage becomes, getting like something built, visualized, and actually usable without the usual back and forth. So yeah, really exciting. Really exciting to see where this is heading over the next few months as well. Now, building is one side of it, but getting your apps live, distributed, and managed efficiently is just as important. So next up, we're going to look at some of the latest updates to publishing and deployment. I'll hand over to Sophie from Product, who's going to walk you through those updates.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our session on Fliplet's publishing updates. So today we're going to give you a little bit of an overview on some of the improvements we've made to our publishing and deployment process. My name is Sophie Mawhinney. I'm the product manager here at Fliplet, and I'm going to be running you through this session. As always, if you have any specific questions as we're going through the session, please pop them in the chat under Q&A, and we will get back to you with those answers. So today, what are we going to cover? We're going to give you a little bit of an introduction to our publishing experience and really some of the key pain points that we have set out to solve. I'll give you a little bit of an overview of some of those new key features. We'll give you a slight different demo, highlighting some of those key features and changes we've made. So we won't do a full end-to-end use case, but we'll highlight some of the things that are important for you to know. We'll also give you a bit of an update on a new alternative publishing method called Fliplet Hub. And then if we have any time at the end, we'll take some questions and answers. Okay, so our publishing, as you know, is the process of getting a app live, either a web app or an app onto one of the app stores, our iOS or Android apps to the Apple Connect or to Google Play Store. So if you've ever published an app before, you may know that the process can sometimes be a little bit challenging. So what we've really done here is try to highlight some of those pain points and eliminate them really from the new process that we've built. So you'll see some of the key benefits being this faster build. So the way that we build apps now is a lot faster than previously. You're seeing these builds complete sometimes in as quick as 2 minutes, as sometimes before they would take sometimes up to 10 minutes, you would see interruptions. So the whole framework of how your app is happening a lot faster. We have a new deep link functionality that's built into this configuration. So what deep linking is, if you're not familiar, it is basically creating a seamless path from a QR code, scanning a QR code from a link in a website, say. It's taking you from those links or that scanning and taking you directly into the native version of the app if the user has it downloaded on their device. So again, another kind of nice to have for the web to native experience. That's all part of the setup now. We also have this set it up once, use it forever kind of mentality in this new publishing. So what this really means is you input your credentials once, and you can use them again across your organization, across different apps, and of course, across the same app. So things like the API that will connect to the Apple Store, things like your push notification credentials. Once those are all input one time, they can be used again. We also have a really streamlined setup. So this is one thing I'll show you in the demo. Previously, there was a lot of different fields and information you'd have to gather from different places. What we've done is really reduce the amount of details that you need to input on the Fliplet side. So there's a lot less room for error and a lot less time spent in publishing, really. We also, as I mentioned, the set it up once for use forever. Our push notification configuration now sits within the flow. If you remember before, it was kind of external to it. So this is something that you can set up once as you're publishing an app, and you'll be able to use it again, as I mentioned, for any apps across your organization. So you don't have to kind of look for different keys and credentials. And then just in general, there's one kind of dashboard that gives you visibility across all of your publishing methods, different statuses, histories, information you need is kind of all in one place, where previously it was kind of mismatched across a few different screens. So I will make sure to highlight those to you as we go through our demo. So one important thing to point out before we do jump into our little demo session is just to highlight the App Store guidelines. So I'm sure, again, you're familiar if you've ever published an app to one of the app stores. There are sometimes some strict and maybe confusing guidelines and requirements that both Apple and Google set. So these are things that unfortunately are outside of our control. So at Fliplet here, we can kind of control everything up to submitting your app and having one of the app stores review it. So there's still maybe some confusion and back and forth with the app stores, but what we are here to do is guide you through that really. And we have built in some inflow publishing guidance for submission to the app stores. And I'll show you those once we get to that section. So into our demo, just quickly an overview of what we're going to do in this session, because it will be slightly different from, an end-to-end demo that you may be used to seeing. But first, I'll give you a overview of that new dashboard, the simplified look, the simplified flow. We'll kind of look at the old publishing flow and all of the steps that you previously had, and then we'll jump into our shiny new one to show you what we've really cut down and changed. I'll show you that kind of reuse forever mentality. I say reuse forever, reuse while it's valid, but that's something we can talk about as well. The validation that's in there, the faster click kind of publishing, and the guidance really throughout the flow, publishing flow. I'll also point out that post-build guidance that I mentioned as well. So this is going to be the guidance that helps you successfully get your apps onto the App Store. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and navigate into Fliplet Studio. So where I am currently is I'm going to click onto this Publish button. What you're seeing here is the new publishing dashboard. But before I jump into that, I just want to go back to our classic version. You'll see that option at the top of the publishing flow now. But if you recall, this is kind of the old way to get into publishing. So this is the App Store for an example. You can see here I have, my different statuses and everything here. Warning messages that may be very hard to read. But what I really wanted to show you is the number of details that we were requiring to put in. So you can see we have all the information on the app. Language, category, keywords, pricing, URLs, reviewer notes, lots of informations on the submitter, who you are, where do you live, where's your business registered. A lot of this information that may have been confusing on why we had it here. You'll also remember potentially this is where we connected with the App Store. So you would have to put your Apple developer account login. You'd have to get a keyword. You'd have to bring that back. Sometimes if there was someone else in your organization, it was slightly confusing on getting this information. The app specific password was required. So lots of information here that you would have to kind of gather before you could actually get your app published. So we've kind of, I would say we have eliminated most of this because the way that the apps are now built, they really don't require this information to actually build your app. It will be required to publish your app onto the app stores, but this is something that should be managed in your App Store Connect or in your Apple account. It's obviously up to date with all the guidance you need there. It's nicely laid out, lots of information from either of the app stores. So again, it's not that this information isn't needed anymore, but it's not needed to build your app on this end. It will be needed when you get into the App Store, and we'll talk about that again in a minute. So if I come back into Publish now, I am in my new dashboard here. So as I said, I'm going to just highlight some of the new features that you'll see here and explain to you how they work. So you'll see here, I nicely now can see all of my publishing methods. So you'll see I have my app set up on a custom domain. You'll see I have a draft in progress for my iOS app, and I have successfully built an app on the Google Play Store. So I can see here in one place where everything is. If I say needed to find out some more information about either one of the publishing methods, I could come into the individual dashboard. I can find out some information on different ways that I can distribute it. find out some information on, push notifications, what comes with it, etc. So lots of information here within one place. So I'm not having to go kind of navigate back and forth to other places within Studio, whether that's a support article or through the help menu. We have a lot of information here that wasn't there before. And again, everything that you need that was existing previously in publishing, configuring, and updates sits right here in that dashboard. So everything you need really is here. So let's go into our App Store. I'll kind of talk to you about that one step republish. So this is obviously a app that's in draft. This was previously published, and you'll see here now I'm taken to this lost stage. So I can see I already have everything configured for me that I previously had configured. It's draft because before this I went into it and started the new submission. So that's why you're seeing it as draft, but it knows that everything's here. It's up my version number for me, and it's kind of ready to go and build, if you will. So I'm not going to do that for now, but I'm going to come back and show you some of our verification that I mentioned here. So this is the API key. This is what's reading to the app stores. If you have never set this up before, you'll set one to begin with in your App Store Connect. If you have any questions on how to do that, it's going to be all in the flow for you. You would go ahead and set that up one time and then again be able to use it all throughout your publishing, whether it's this app or another app within your organization. I'm going to select one that I previously had. This one that is one that's available for my organization only, and it's going to verify that this is valid. So there's lots of validation that happens in each step. So you're no longer going to get to the end of the build and question, is this going to work? Is it going to go through? I now know here that my API is valid. So I'll continue. It's going to validate it for me as well, double check, and it's going to pull up my distribution certificate. So for those of you that know about distribution certificates, those are assigned to you by Apple, by your App Store Connect. What the API is allowing me to do is read to see that I have a valid distribution certificate. If I don't have a valid one, I'll be able to create one through the API. That's really nothing that you need to worry about. The main thing is it valid? And I can see here in the UI that it's valid. What it's also doing is pulling APIs that are connected, bundle IDs that are connected with that API and with that Apple account. So I can correctly pull my bundle ID that I need, and it will also set the app version for me. If it's a rebuild, it will increase that number for you. And again, you'll see that this will validate everything as it moves across. So push notifications, I'm not going to go through and set all this up, but just to give you the idea, push notifications do sit in here. I can then go to the end, review everything. Another thing that has been added in here is this splash screen preview. So if you remember before, that kind of set outside of the publishing flow, so I'd have to go there and find that and come back in. I can see now that this probably isn't the right size that I want to use, but I can at least see a preview and understand how it would look on my device for me once it's published. So lots of things that are in here that are helpful for you, instructions on where you need to go to find things, lots of previews, lots of validation. So again, these are just things that are making the process a little bit easier and reducing the amount of guessing, really. And although everything was valid as I was going through, if it wasn't, you would definitely see let's try this one, a clear error message. So this is saying the API key is no longer valid. You need to go back and create a new one, etc. So it's going to ask me if I'm okay to leave the process, which I am. So that was some of the new features within the flow. Android has a lot of the same ones. I also wanted to show you a couple other things in here. So this is Android. So this is built. So here that we can show you that kind of one-step publish. So you'll see here now that I've gone and selected to build a new version. So again, all this information's here. It has told me now that it's going to automatically bump up my version number because it's a new build. If I wanted to go back into any of these and edit, if I want to change a splash screen or icon or whatever, I could do that. Otherwise, I just need to click on build new version and it's going to go ahead and build that new version for me. So there's no more manual going back and through, setting everything up. Everything's checked and valid, and I can just do that one step click to republish. So that is super helpful. Just going to exit this one more time because I want to highlight our next steps. So this is the third part of the kind of demo overview that I wanted to talk to you guys about, that guidance of getting your app onto the App Store. So you can clearly see here your app is built. So Fliplet has done the hard work and built your app for you. And there are a lot more steps, as you know now, to get that onto one of the app stores. So specifically for Android, you'll see I have this message here. I'm going to click on next steps, and it's going to take me to an overview page. So it's going to say your build's complete. It's not live yet. Follow the steps below. So you'll know for Google, you need to download your bundle and upload that to the Google Play Store. That's here. So I don't need to go looking around for it. And it will give you clear steps on what you need to do. So downloading it, here's what I need to do. There it is. Setting it up. Here's all the different sections that I need to go to set it up. Completing the store listing. What do you need? This is making sure that you're crossing everything off the list. Now, we're not validating it from the App Store if you've done it or not. This is simply guidance to help you kind of get there. And we can also see, if I come out of this quickly, I'm going to go back. I want to show you it for next. So I wanted to highlight iOS as well because it's slightly different. What iOS does is it allows you to select your different publishing methods. So as you know, there's multiple ways to publish different types of apps, but specifically for iOS, we can do it to the public app store unlisted through your MDM. So what this does is filter the method that you want to publish it and give you that guidance. And we also in here have a few different things built into it. So you'll know screenshots are needed for both of them. You'll see that in both of them where you can generate your screenshots. Specifically, Apple wants a certain reviewer note copy. So if I copy this, it's going to copy that template to the clipboard. I can then go ahead and paste that into the App Store and follow the instructions there. So again, we can't fully submit an app for you, but we can get you as far as possible. And what we hope we've done here is kind of giving you that hands-on guidance to help you be successful. And of course, our team's always prepared and ready to help you when needed. Okay, so that is our demo. I'm then just going to jump back into a couple more things we want to talk about. So I guess before we jump into Fliplet Hub, the publishing V2 is live. What I was showing you is all live. V2 is an internal reference, but it is the new publishing method. So once you click on that publishing button, you will be taken into that new dashboard and see that nicely there for you. Part of the publishing dashboard that is not available now, but will soon be available, is this Fliplet Hub. So this is going to be a new distribution method of getting your app live, really. So right now you have your web app. You have the option to get them live on either one of the app stores, and you will soon have the option to use our Fliplet Hub. So what our Fliplet Hub is going to do is be the container app for getting your app live. So you'll no longer have to worry about App Store submissions, maintaining developer accounts on either one of those app stores, certificates, etc. We will control all of that through our container app, and we will allow anyone interested to publish their apps onto this container hub. So the apps can go live instantly. There's no more review process. You can control access via different types of links, QR codes, or access codes. So your users will still have that same experience into your app. It will be fully branded. It will look exactly the same as your app. It's just a different way that the user will access it. And if I go to the next screen here, this is kind of an overview of what it will look like. So think of this as the hub, the container. So your user will put their access code into it, some sort of verification maybe, and what they will see here is the option to enter your app. So this would be your app. It would have your branding, your icon, whatever, and the user would be able to log into it and seamlessly get into your app without needing to get it onto the App Store. So again, just another option to help you get your apps live quicker. Completely optional, but it's a way to eliminate the back and forth with app stores, really. Super exciting. It's in the works. We don't have a definite deadline of when it will go live, but there's lots of information going to be coming out about it. So stay tuned. And if you're interested in its more information, please just pop it in the chat and we can reach back out to you with some more details. Okay. If there's any questions, please pop them in the chat as well. We will get back to you with those answers. We hope everything that you have seen today is interesting and helpful. As I said, publishing sometimes can be a challenging process, so we've really set out to make it easier for you. Lots of support information on our website, on our support site, if you would like more details on anything you've seen today. Thank you so much for attending.
That was really great. For me, really, I had conversations with several clients about Fliplet Hub, specifically around client-facing events. And we'll be sharing more information around that. But really, the tailored experience and the guidance that it now provides, it's really grand. So, I don't know, Sophie, what's your take on it? Have you talked to some clients about Hub, or what did you get from the session?
Yes, definitely agree, Felipe, and thanks for that, Sophie. Lots of useful improvements in there. For our clients, things like the simplified publishing flow and the visibility across bills are going to make a big difference, I feel. And especially the Fliplet Hub piece is definitely something we're quite excited about. We've already had a number of conversations with clients who are looking for easier ways to distribute apps without going through the app stores. So that's going to be really interesting one as it rolls out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think not only that, but the fact that we've all been on hundreds of publishing calls, so taking that out of the equation, if it's not needed, it's just amazing, right? It's going to make the event that much better, or the app is going to get published that much quicker, and it's going to get in the hands of the people that actually use it. So, yeah, really good stuff.
100%.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So moving on, Felipe and I are going to talk you through the notable updates and improvements we've been making across the platform. These are the kind of improvements that you'll actually notice, whether that's when you're building apps in Studio or how your end users are experiencing them. And just before we get into that, as a reminder, if you do have any questions as we go through, feel free to drop them into the Zoom Q&A at any point, and we will get back to you. So from a performance perspective, we've seen improvements in stability and load times, particularly for larger apps. We've also reduced a lot of the issues, so the software is now running more smoothly and reliably. On the platform side, a lot of work has gone into the core areas, things like SSO and SAML, just strengthening that side so everything works as expected in the background. We've also made updates to navigation and overall UI in Studio, so it should feel a bit more intuitive to move around. You can find what you need and build without getting stuck. And more broadly, this is about making the experience of building and managing apps feel a lot more straightforward. So less time dealing with the little frustrations and more time actually moving things forward. So overall, the focus here is simple: a stronger, more dependable platform that's easier to work with. It's fundamentally what we're trying to do. And Felipe.
Yeah, thank you, Sophie. No, that's great. And yeah, also let's talk about notifications. So that's we've been putting a lot of work into how notifications behave and are delivered. They're very important whether you're hosting an event or you want me as a user to check out a piece of information, or you want your users to take action on a specific, let's say a survey or a poll, or simply completing a training. So we want to make sure those notifications are accurate. And another step that we've taken is something that Sophie from product mentioned before, which is we enable deep linking. Essentially, what deep linking does is it takes the user exactly where you want them to go. So again, if you want me to complete a survey, I click the notification or scan my QR code or click the link, and it takes me directly there. Right. It also, if you want me to, if I have a compliance training that I haven't, finished or even started, you can actually bug me with it and be like, let's get this done and send me notifications. And I don't have, when I click on it, there's no confusion, because instead of going to, let's say, the home page or the home screen of my app, I'm taking directly to that training to be able to complete it. Also, what this does is it gives you a more tailored experience, and it boosts your engagement, because all the content you're sharing with your users is meant for them. And it feels like it's meant for them because they're taken exactly where they need to go. We are also we're also doing some work to make sure we have consistency across the user interface. And like Sophie said, bettering the user experience, because the last thing we want you to do is jump into Fliplet Studio and worry about formatting, right? We want to make sure the layouts are predictable, so that you can focus on creating and coming up with ideas, getting those apps to your users as quickly as you can, and that your experience within Studio, whether it's V3, V2, it's very consistent and very, very clean. Also, if you're sharing, or training somebody on Fliplet Studio, you want the experience to be the same. You want it to be consistent. So that's part of what we've done, and part of why we continue to work on improvements across the platform. And yeah, the main goal here is to allow you to build what you need quickly and get it again into the hands of the users. But now I'm going to pass it over back to Sophie, who's going to share our latest support offering. I know a lot of my clients are going to be very excited about this. It's a surprise we have for you guys. So Sophie, take it away.
Thanks, Felipe. Yeah, just got excited there when you're talking about deep linking. Just to reiterate, yeah, it's going to be great for engagement. So I'm quite excited for that. And really, I think back to what you were saying, it's just that we're focusing on consistency across apps. So things like styling, layout, and overall structure are going to feel more predictable and polished. And finally, over to 24/7 support. This is something we're introducing for clients who need extended or continuous coverage, so ideal for events or key launches, providing that extra level of reassurance, especially when things are happening outside of the standard hours or across different time zones. I know I already have had some clients use the 24/7 support for their events this year. How about yourself, Felipe?
I have, yeah, and very successfully. I think that added level of support and also an escalation path in case something is needed, it's key. A lot of the retreats that we host happen Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? So that added support on those 2 days is key. I just had a client a couple of days ago reach out asking that same question: Can I get extended coverage? Right? This wasn't something we did in the past. It's something that is brand new and has been proven successful for the few clients that have used it. And I think, I can, think of so many clients that are going to be excited about this, whether it is for an event, a key launch, or even if you're testing an app during the weekend to get it out to the hands of your users, having the support there to give you a hand is very, very useful.
Yeah, agree. So if this is something that could be useful for your team, particularly for anything coming up this year, just reach out to your account manager. We can talk through what it would look like, as it does need to be planned in advance a little bit.
Mhm.
And now for our final update this afternoon, we're moving on to security and Infosec. Before I hand it over, I'll just say we know Infosec is a big focus for a lot of you. We spend a lot of time working through security questionnaires with clients. So if there's anything like that on your side, please do send it over to whoever your account manager is. We're always happy to support with those and make sure everything is covered from a security and compliance perspective. And just a reminder, as always, we spoke a lot. And just as a reminder, as always, we spoke a lot of updates. So please remember to submit your questions through the Q&A, and we will get back to you. And with that, I'll hand things over to our COO, Toby Rowe, who's going to walk you through our latest security and InfoSec updates.
Welcome to the Security and InfoSec update. I'll be sharing with some key insights around the enhancements and practices that we're doing here at Fliplet and how we continue to support enterprise-grade security and compliance. I'm your host, Toby. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Fliplet. Any questions throughout, please use the Q&A button below. Likewise, any comments. I would love to hear from you throughout the session. So let's get started. I'm going to give you a short update focused on what we've strengthened, what's underway, but what it means for you. At Fliplet, security isn't something that we treat as a separate activity or only visit once a year. It's built into how we improve the platform on a day-to-day basis. Our focus remains practical throughout, keeping the platform current, reducing risk, improving resilience, and supporting the compliance standards that many of you operate under. Ultimately, it's about that trust and confidence that you need to be able to move quickly, but you also need to trust that the platform you're building on is secure, governed, and actively maintained. That's what this update is about. Starting with governance and assurance, the foundations here remain strong. We continue to maintain our ISO 27001-2022 certification. We also run annual CREST certified penetration testing. And that external validation is key. So it's not just us saying things are secure. Internally, security is reviewed at management level every single quarter without fail. That covers risks, actions, and access controls. But more importantly, it's whether those controls are actually working, still fit for purpose, or whether they need further enhancements. We also continue to review and maintain our GDPR sub-processes, which supports transparency with your own due diligence processes. And one thing to call out, we're currently reviewing our penetration testing partner. And that's not because standards are low or they've not met the mark. It's because our own expectations are very high. We want to keep raising that bar on the level of challenge that we get, hence why we're going to market to find a new provider. Platform hardening. This is the engineering work that happens behind the scenes. We've upgraded the node runtime that's used by AWS Lambda. We've also completed the Vue 3 upgrade and upgraded our database to Postgres SQL 16. We've also removed Lodash across widgets, our core JavaScript library, and client apps. And this might sound quite technical, but it's important. Security isn't just about policies and audits. It's keeping the tech stack current whilst reducing the reliance on older dependencies and making sure that everything remains supportable. All of this reduces avoidable risk and puts us in a much stronger position to respond quickly as new vulnerabilities and threats emerge, so we can then take suitable action. Security is also about what's happening continuously. We have automated monitoring across all of our environments, giving us visibility and helping us identify issues early. There's also active work underway. The wider node upgrade is in progress, as I've mentioned, with targeted completion around mid-May. And we're rolling out an auth token migration to strengthen the platform even further. Alongside that, all security remediation is tracked internally, so the issues are visible, owned, and followed through to completion. The key point here is that security improvement is ongoing. It's not just a one-off project. It's part of how we operate on a day-to-day basis. So what does that actually mean for you? First, you get stronger governance and oversight, with regular review of risks and access controls, making sure they're relevant and current for the platform. Second, a more current and supportable platform, which in time reduces both security and maintenance risk over time. Third, strong foundations as we then continue to improve areas like authentication. And importantly, we continue to work directly with you. Recently, we've helped over 10 clients with Infosec questionnaires, compliance check, and assurance requests. And that matters because many of you need to evidence your own security internally. Our role isn't just about keeping Fliplet secure, it's to help you demonstrate that too. And we aim to do this without any disruption. so you can keep building and operating with utmost confidence and complete trust that the enterprise grade platform that's being used is both secure and safe. To summarize, our security governance remains active, reviewed, and independently validated. We delivered meaningful platform hardening across runtime, frameworks, databases, and dependencies. We've got continuous monitoring in place with further improvements already underway, particularly around node and authentication. And we continue to work and support you directly with compliance and assurance. So the key takeaway is simple. Security at Fliplet is continuous. It's governed, it's monitored, and improved through practical engineering work, so you can continue to innovate with confidence and trust that the platform you're using is safe. Thank you very much for your time today. I'll hand you back to the team now for any questions that you might have.
Thanks, Toby. I know I'm always receiving compliance and Infosec questions from clients, which is great. We're happy to fill those out. We want to avoid risk too, and we want to make sure that you can trust the platform. And Felipe, I think, are you seeing more Infosec or compliance questions coming up in deals now?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially lately, I don't know, the last couple of months, a lot of my clients want to build more complex use cases, which requires, security checks. And then what we do is, like you said, we complete the questionnaires. Usually a SIG-Lite is sent to us. If that's something that you guys have or want to send our way, we can definitely complete it. But yeah, the more complex the use case, usually, the more security you need. And once you get that security clearance, it's much better for future projects. So yeah. How about you, Sophie? What do you think, it's important for your clients in terms of security? Is it more like getting the clearance? Is it more for project completion? Is it a yearly thing? What do you think?
Yeah, I think for me, they usually want to ensure we have the clearance to get their project done. And then after getting that clearance, I think in general, clients find it quicker to go through approvals. Do you?
Yeah, that's actually very accurate. And I think usually when we work with the security team, it's a completely separate team from, the people that we're working on the app build, right?
Mhm.
And once that's done, the amount of use cases that you build are, go up exponentially because again, we're hosting data within Fliplet instead of having it somewhere else. We're able to clear use cases, a directory. You have people's information there. If you want to do an integration with software that has sensitive information, again, you have to go through a security checkpoint. So having that approval on that clearance just opens up the window for multiple use cases that weren't available before getting that clearance. So yeah, totally agree with you there. Yeah. Awesome. So thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Toby, Sophie. And thank you to all of you that joined us today. We shared a ton of information with you. For me, honestly, the highlight, aside from, the everything that we shared is that we're making it easier for you to build apps, making it quicker for you to build apps. And now we have access to Studio V3. So if you guys want to experience it, reach out to us. We're happy to set you up and give you a quick demonstration that you play with it with us as well so that we can kind of guide you. One thing that wasn't mentioned by Tony is that it is a guided experience because V3 will talk to you. It will ask you questions. So it's not only, getting the prompt there, it's also, it's going to ask you, do you approve this step? Should we take it this way? Right? It's going to guide you through it. And at the end of the day, you're going to be so happy with the result. You're not going to stop using it. So we really look forward to hearing from you. Again, we will get back to you with the answers to your questions. Thank you for trusting us with your business, and we will see you again very, very soon. Have a great, great day. Thank you. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye.